a lot of the things that Masons do are things that are very familiar to Latter-day Saints who participate in temple worship. And the question we have to ask is, why did this group, first of all, why did they possess them? And that's a mystery. There's a lot of theory behind it. A lot of people believe that these symbols and signs of Masonry were preserved through the days of the ancient Israelites and Solomon's temple, and that Jesus Christ himself taught these principles in mortality, and that they were things that were given to the apostles. And that somehow this group of what we call the Masons, perhaps through a Templar connection, perhaps through another way, through the apostasy, they preserved these signs and symbols.
When we speak of Masonry, often the Masonry of today is confused with the Masonry of the late 18th and early 19th centuries. On the one hand, we have a contemporary fraternal organization, and on the other, we have ancient symbols and rites that were handed down through time to the Founding Fathers.
Further investigation reveals another occult symbol traced directly into the streets of Washington, D.C., a pentagram. And its southernmost tip points directly to the White House.
Latter-day Saints are accused of being Satan worshipers because some of our early buildings, the Logan Temple, the Salt Lake Temple, the Nauvoo Temple, all three of them have inverted 5-part stars on them. There are 40 on the Salt Lake Temple. Every window on the Nauvoo Temple is an inverted pentagram in a circle surrounded by 3 stones at each of the 4 cardinal directions, 12 stones. Here we have an inverted pentagram surrounding the Nauvoo Temple, the temple designed by Joseph Smith, the prophet of the Restoration. Why would he put a pentagram on one of the most important early temples? The pentagram is perhaps the oldest graphic symbol on the planet, discovered in ancient Babylon. For centuries, for millennia, it was tied to light, to creation, to healing. Some of the old healing professions and doctors used the pentagram as a symbol of healing. Because it has those connections of light, divine geometry, healing and perfection, of course it would be tied to Jesus Christ, and it is. He cast out evil and darkness. He cast out evil spirits. It started in 1855 with a French Catholic deacon who was also a Mason. He was kicked out of the Catholic Church. He was kicked out of Masonry. His name was Alphonse Louis Constant. He was into magic and into some unusual things. He took the upright 5-pointed star, a symbol of light, and he inverted it and put it on his first book of magic, making it a symbol of the occult and darkness.
Alphonse Constant changed his name to be Hebrew, and he became known as Eliphaz Levi. This researcher of what he called the ancient doctrines used the pentagram in conjunction with the tetragrammaton to create a symbol blaspheming the sacred name of God. The tetragrammaton is Greek. It means 4 letters. The tetragrammaton has reference to the 4 letters in Hebrew which create the Lord's name. The Lord's name is pronounced by most biblical scholars and Hebrew linguists as Yahweh.
According to Jewish practice, the name of God is treated with such reverence that verbally pronouncing the name is avoided. Writing the name unnecessarily is also avoided, even resulting in abbreviations for the name.
The god of the occult is most commonly represented in satanic illustrations by the tetragrammaton. Occultists consider the Hebrew names of God like Adonai and Elohim to hold power, and none of these is more powerful to them than the tetragrammaton. Clearly, the use of the tetragrammaton and other names of God by Satanists does not make the names of God evil any more than their adoption of the pentagram makes the pentagram evil.
In my era, when there was DVDs and videos that we'd rent, I'd go to the movie store and we'd see Scary movies often had an inverted pentagram on it. And so I did a little survey, and I found about 10% of all the scary movies, especially those dealing with the occult, had an inverted pentagram in a circle on it. That's exactly the symbol that was on the Nauvoo temple. No wonder people associated Latter-day Saints with the occult. What they don't understand is the history of that symbol.